Hello and welcome to the first ever 17th episode of Whovian Whoniverse. Here with me, Jamie.
Me, Lewis.
Me, Brian.
Dum de 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 dum. Brian, you better put me off. What was that? Dum de dum de dum. I was like, what is this?
I don't know where he was going with that.
It's like the parody Doctor Who version. It's like we wanted to sound the same, but not so close. We get a copyright strike.
I'm not making an effort anymore after being accused of being tone deaf when I wasn't here.
Oh, so you did listen to it.
I listened to the first 5 seconds and switched off in disgust.
Well, I'll tell you what. No one disagreed with me, so.
So,
Brian, you were missing from the last week's episode.
yes, yeah.
Why?
Because I was at...
Where were you?
It was a Grappolo restaurant in Huddersfield.
And you think that's more important than the
$16.95
podcast?
early bird menu between 5 and half 6.
Are they paying for this?
Monday to Thursdays.
Are they paying
We've
for
got new
this?
sponsors. Hey.
Yeah, I'm actually our main sponsor is BBC for not suing us for this podcast, and Chris Chibnall for not suing me for defamation.
They're not going to sue us for copyright the
Because
theme music.
technically speaking, legally speaking, what I said was not criticism; it was defamation. Where I said I was going to walk up to his house and poo-poo on his pot in a paper bag, setting it on fire. So when he goes outside to stamp it out, he gets my poo all over his foot.
Good luck with that, Jamie.
Ideally in socks.
Good job finding him, yes. Good luck finding
I
him.
know where he lives. I was actually listening to the David Tennant interview with Jodie Whittaker. You know, he's got his own he's got a podcast. It's one of our main rivals. Obviously, he's beating us.
It's not a rival, is it?
He considers it a blip. Anyway, but in his interview with Jodie Whittaker, they were actually mentioning how the reason the first episode, was it the girl who fell to earth? Was that the woman who fell to earth? Was that what?
Yeah. I think it was
The reason it was set in Sheffield isn't because Jodie Whittaker is from
Huddersfield?
yeah, but not because she's from like the north, but because that's where Chris Chibnall went to university, and that's the only reason.
Really?
It's the only reason. That's why it's so Sheffield centric. Like, I absolutely love like the fact that it's such heavy North references. I just wish it was Leeds. The only other reference I can think of towards Leeds in Doctor Who was the one where the Doctor died and Donna didn't die. Well, yeah, I guess he did die. It's called Turn Left.
Yes.
Where they found out what would happen if the Doctor wasn't around. And basically what happened was they got shipped off and they actually went to Leeds to go live with those immigrants. And then got shipped, and then that was in Leeds.
They had the iconic terraced houses, yeah.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't think it was Leeds. It looked like
it does look like
it looked like your typical council estate.
Yeah, but it does look like the housing estates in Leeds. But I didn't know that was
Particularly,
was
you wouldn't think it was Leeds, but Donna calling one of the neighbours Vera Duckworth.
No. It was a good episode. That's definitely one of my favourite episodes. One that I'd actually watched.
Very clever.
Yeah.
They just couldn't afford the budget to actually go film in Manchester.
No, it would have been nice for them to show a bit of the scenery in
They
Leeds.
couldn't afford the insurance to film in Manchester because everything would get nicked.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that they show like major locations. Every other city they film, they always show major locations. But when it comes to poor old Leeds, we don't
Council
get anything.
estate.
Yeah, it's just a council estate.
Are there any locations?
Is that what people think of us now?
Does Leeds have any landmarks?
Yeah, there's
Of course, it's an outsider.
So Leeds does have some landmarks. There is the UK's oldest library is in Leeds.
There is, yeah. Indeed.
There is there's a building made with bricks in Leeds as well. There's a Leeds museum full of stuff that wasn't in Leeds. Stolen artefacts from Egypt, for example.
Yeah.
Second division football ground.
Cheers for that.
We don't talk about Leeds United here. Our football team, or soccer, if you're for the American listeners. I guess I think because I live here,
Yeah.
I don't know the landmarks, 'cause to me, we're just other
It's just
buildings.
there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
a bit like
Manchester.
there's a building called the Corn Exchange. That's probably one of the more
The
famous
Corn
buildings
Exchange
in
is-
Leeds.
Well, it was the trading hub of the north for a decent amount of time. Was Leeds?
It was wool, basically, was the main distributor. But a lot of the factories weren't actually in Leeds, though. A lot of the main factories in the Yorkshire area was from like Dewsbury and Batley. That's where all the mills were.
I believe Batley was known as the shoddy capital of the north.
Who told you that?
Yeah, no, it was because shoddy is a byproduct of wool.
Oh, okay, I thought it meant shoddy as in bad.
No. Shoddy as in wool. Yeah, it was known as the shoddy capital of the north.
Swiftly moving back onto Doctor Who anyway.
If we
So,
could, yeah.
well, it's not even really Doctor Who centric, it's just a bit of fun we do, voting in the TARDIS, where we put a question to our lovely listeners, what is your favourite? Or whatever the poll is that week. This week it was, what is your favourite science fiction comedy, supplied by our very own Brian J, the Whostorian.
We did
veto.
You dismissed one of my suggestions.
Yeah, well,
as a result, we've had the closest poll in Whoniverse history.
Yeah, it is really close.
It was very, very close. I'll be quite frank. At one point, it was a tie around all four categories. So we had Men in Black, Bill and Ted, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Galaxy Quest. So, out of those four, which would you have chosen? Brian?
I would have chosen and did choose Galaxy Quest. It's a fantastic film. Hilarious all the way through. Alan Rickman is amazing in it.
I can do a pretty decent Alan Rickman impression.
When are you going to do it?
I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep that to myself. There's a cool video on Graham Norton actually of Alan Rickman on helium. Actually, it's really funny. Anyway, Lewis.
I would have chosen Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah.
Right. Well, for me, after reading the comments on the poll, I think had I seen it, I would have chosen Galaxy Quest. Had I seen Galaxy Quest. Having not seen Galaxy Quest, I'd always go for Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love. Bill and Ted was actually my first introduction to time travel.
Yeah, was it?
In the popular medium. So I actually, when I associate what got me into initially Doctor Who, I guess I could accredit to Bill and Ted because it was
the same shaped.
Little known fact about Bill and Ted was that it was originally launched in America. It wasn't actually viewed on cinema screen in the UK at all.
What, Bill and Ted?
Yeah.
Really?
It wasn't released in the UK. It wasn't until it came out on TV that we actually got to see it.
Well, we're actually getting a third one now as well, which I'm really looking forward to.
It is one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons why the third one has been so heavily delayed, because they don't believe that it'll have an international market, a bigger.
Well, here's the thing: I don't
market.
think it will, which is why I absolutely love these films because they're made on a low budget, and I always find that the films that are made on the lowest budgets are always the most creative.
Another little known fact is that Keanu Reeves has been playing the same character in every film he's been in since Bill and Ted.
Keanu Reeves has range.
I don't know how true it is, but I heard a story that Keanu Reeves and Alex, what's his second name?
Winter.
Alex Winter,
I
is
think.
it? Yeah, I believe it is. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter got the job by messing around in a line in Burger King, and the director.
I heard that story too.
I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like a fun way to get a job.
Was that his debut in acting?
That was both of their debuts.
Oh,
in
right.
acting. Yeah.
Lewis, what are you doing next week?
Let's go to Burger King.
I mean, my first introduction to Keanu Reeves was in Matrix, so for me it was very strange seeing a serious Keanu Reeves and then going back and seeing a really...
Same character.
It wasn't the same character.
It was.
Although he doesn't seem to age.
Yeah, no.
He just
really
when he
doesn't.
wants to look a bit older, he's like, I'll grow a beard and I'll grow my hair out a bit.
He's an interesting person, as Keanu Reeves, though. Even though you think that his acting is vanilla, he actually gives away most of the money that he makes from his movies to charities, and he works a 9-to-5 office job.
He's very modest as well about his success. It's just a really cool. It's one of the few celebrities where Even though I'm not his biggest fan, I just want to meet him just because he seems like a nice person. Like I can sit down and having a decent chat with him. So someone put forward a question to him and said, "What do you think happens to people after they die?" And he didn't give like the I'm an atheist, I don't believe in heaven, or we're gonna go to heaven. He just said, "I know what's gonna happen. Their friends and family are gonna miss him." I mean, he just left it like, and it was such a sweet thing. I'm like, that's the sort of person I want to be when I grow up in a couple of years. I want to be like Keanu Reeves. So, the results of the poll won't surprise you. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy won, but only by 1%.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, 34% voted Hitchhiker's Guide, 33% Men in Black, 18% Bill and Ted, and 15% Galaxy Quest.
I know that when I voted, both Men in Black and Hitchhiker's Guide.
You voted twice?
No, I voted Hitchhiker's Guide, but both Men in Black and Hitchhiker's Guide and Bill and Ted and Galaxy Quest were both tying with each other. So Bill and Ted was tying with Galaxy Quest at 15%.
And Men in Black was tying with Hitchhiker's Guide.
At 35%.
It was incredibly close. The tie only broke today.
How many votes did we get?
It had over 200 votes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Big poll, then.
I'm not always going to include the poll numbers because they're not always going to be as big as.
Not always
it's the mega done.
If we break any records again, I'll be sure to post it.
Yeah,
I think I'll aim for 1,000 votes next time.
Yeah, we can't always get the Stargate lot involved, can we?
Yeah.
What?
Although I'll aim to.
Right. So, Lewis. We always have you read the what's the word?
Comments.
The comments out from our readers, listeners. There are some spelling mistakes because I was writing them in a rush today. It's been Eid week, so I've not had time to really go in depth into the polls, and which is why we don't have Universal Hogwash this week, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So, if you want to read it to yourself first in your mind, and then read it out loud in your best German accent.
I really can't do German.
Which is why it's going to be...
Yeah, I know, funny.
Can I just say I did enjoy Jamie's Irish accent last week.
Jamie's accents are insanely funny. Okay, so here we go then.
Let me know when you're ready and I'll cue you in.
Right, I'm ready.
So we've got our first comment from Signal Tome 5.
I love...
You just sound like yourself.
I'll be back.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. I love Hitchhiker's Guide. And I book form, but none of the movies did a particular good job to translate it.
Come on.
It's too big screen.
Right, you just come back Serbian. Hang on, let me try.
Default setting.
Yeah.
Auf Wiedersehen. Nine. I love Hitchhiker's Guide in book form, but none of the movies particularly good job of translating it into the big screen. The BBC miniseries wasn't bad, though.
That was more Irish than your Irish accent was.
The BBC miniseries.
It wasn't so bad though. Hello, I'm from Berlin.
So we got our second comment from the Crazy Brie. Can you do a drunk Scotsman?
This was really hard. A drunk Scotsman.
Which is just normal Scottish.
Yeah, just a Scotsman. Yeah.
It's Glasgow, I think, actually.
Here we go. Wait, have we got a drunk Scotsman? No, that's Scouse.
This one's really hard.
Ich nee. How do you do Scottish again?
That's really hard.
It was really hard. Yeah. This was really hard, and I love more. How do you drink more? I ended up voting Galaxy Quest.
Probably a drunk mistake.
It had so many quirky charms. The whole film basically a con gone wrong, but there is so much heart in it. I went from insanely silly. It went from insanely silly to seriously AF.
Yeah, we're not going to say what that stands for.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, fair enough. Complete emotional roller coaster with character growth.
Right, can I just say, you sound like a Scottish person who immigrated from Siberia. a Scottish Siberian immigrant. That's range, Lewis.
Scottish Siberian.
We got our last comment from one of our lovely listeners called Alright Punk. I'm trying to think of what you can do for this one.
Alright Punk.
Could you do...
Probably not, but let's try.
The answer's no, isn't it?
Can you do Apu from The Simpsons? No, don't do it. Don't do that.
No.
I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm thinking, what else could you do?
Alright, let's hurry this one along.
Do your best female impression.
I can't.
Let's
I've got too much of a deep voice.
Do your own voice.
Do your own voice
Let's
then.
crack on.
This is. Let's see.
You can't do your own voice.
Can't even do it. He's
This is
not bad
so
accents.
tough. I love them all, but Galaxy Quest swings it. Such a lovely homage to Star Trek. Even while it's sending it up, and a good story in its own right.
So is that what you think you sound like in your own head?
No, that was me trying to do a female
Yourself.
American.
So
I don't know if I used to remember Kenny Everett, but there's a character just called, and I'm going to have to be very careful here, Cupid Stunt.
no.
She sounded just like that.
So it's some really interesting things here. There's a lot of the comments were about Galaxy Quest, and it really made me want to watch the film.
Yeah.
Watch it. It's
Have you watched it?
No, I've never. I just said it made me really want to watch it for the first time.
Okay.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't know. I
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
it.
I'm sure it's available.
It might be on Prime.
So I think I'm going to try and get a hold of that.
Sure, you
film
get a copy
and
of
give it
CX
a
for a
watch.
couple of quid.
Yeah. Probably.
So for an next poll, I was thinking if we could watch an episode or story again for the first time, what would it be? So before I take your suggestions, we do have some suggestions from some of our listeners. So I put a question out on our Twitter account. Blink is a popular choice.
Excellent.
Very popular, as is Silence in the Library.
Sounds
Yeah,
brilliant.
we got a comment from Oddball 2007. I can't choose. I mean, said for number 9 Dalek, for number 10 Midnight, number 11 A Good Man Goes to War,
Good Man Goes to War is excellent. Yeah.
12 The Witch is Familiar, and 13 It Takes You Away. Walsh Caitlin, could be a typo, it could be Welsh Caitlin, sorry, said Dalek. I want to see if it was the lightning in a bottle that got me into the series as a whole.
Okay.
So I've got my own suggestion for what episode I want to see again, because it's kind of takes into our topic of the episode as well, which will also use for what we'll choose for the actual poll, which is going to be very controversial as to what we'll likely miss out. So there's numerous episodes I'd want to watch again, such as the Pandorica Opens,
Definitely,
due to the powerful speeches, reuniting of characters, and the introduction of the Fez, the legendary Fez. It's a result of a long drawn out storyline. However, as a standalone episode, could you watch it again for the first time?
Without the previous storylines, it
Exactly.
just doesn't gel.
Like, there's some stories you'd want to see again, but to understand that episode, you'd have to watch the entire series again, wouldn't you? I think that was Matt Smith's first series, wasn't it? It was his first. It was 2010. Yeah. So that made me think. So I would have to go with the Empty Child storyline. So both episodes, which introduced Captain Jack Harkness, and in a sense turned me into a massive Whovian. I think I've said it's no secret. I've said it in previous podcasts where it's the episode that probably brings me to mind. If anyone ever asks me what episode I'd recommend to them to get them into Doctor Who, I always recommend the Empty Child, and it even turned the phrase "mummy" into the stuff of nightmares. Mummy,
Are you my mummy?
Are you my mummy? And every now and then you get this growing up bloke going, "Are you my mummy? Mummy." Stuff of nightmares. It's a Second World War episode as well, which makes the episode more timeless, whereas episodes that are set, I personally find episodes that are set in the present day tend to age more, which it sounds a bit, because it's like when you're in modern days, the doctor's suddenly, I've got everything on my arsenal, whereas when they go into the past, like trying to protect the time stream, not using too much technology, so they're like kind of just, they're only using their wits, So
Yeah.
you can use the past. It's stands for classic Who as well, where the past episodes set in the past always I always find they stand the test of time a bit more. So for me, The Empty Child would have to go in the poll. What about you two?
I would have to go for Hellbent. It is my favourite episode of Capaldi's series. There are a few, Matt Smith episodes I could think, and I think the one of the listeners mentioned one there, which was let's see here. Was A Good Man Goes to War.
A Good Man Goes to War.
An
That's a good episode.
Matt,
Yeah.
Matt Smith episode, but again, as you said about the other episode, would you really be able to watch that as a standalone episode? I think Hellbent, you really could watch that as a standalone episode, because
Hellbent's kind of got like a moral to the story as well, and it's like a gradual progression. I mean, it'd be interesting to know how he got there, but it's also interesting seeing how he gets out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, when he does get out as well, and he finds himself on Gallifrey, you'd be sort of like, well, what's going on right here then?
Yeah, but then straight away you're intrigued. You want to carry on watching it, don't
exactly.
you?
Exactly, and I think it'd be a really good one to get people into it, because there's a continuation of storyline there that trips over to the next episode that you've just watched him go through billions of years of of this struggle and toil to get out of this prison, and then he ends up on this what looks like a desolate planet, except for in the distance you see like this sci-fi looking city.
Brian?
Well, I'm sure you thoroughly expect me to pick a classic era story.
At this point I expect
Yes,
it.
I'm not going to disappoint. Terror of the Zygons.
Terror of the Zygons.
Yes.
You'll have to text me that one so I don't forget.
Yeah.
So what's that one about?
Well, more familiar with the Zygons from New Who?
Yeah.
They're the shapeshifters.
Yes.
Yeah. Suckers. Good kissers. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Zygon snugging going on
Then I'm not interested.
in this classic story.
Was it Rule 32?
Basically, there's a lot of mysterious goings on around an oil base up in far north of Scotland, and also centres around what the Loch Ness Monster is, which is apparently a monster that the Zygons brought to Earth called the Scarrison.
Wait, so the Loch Ness Monster is a real thing in the Whoniverse?
Yes, twice actually.
Ah.
But yeah, so it basically provides their lactic fluid, so it's a feeding machine. So
That's interesting.
Well,
the
and
Zygons go around.
gross.
The Zygons go around impersonating people, and the doctor goes, "I'll sort this out," and sorts it out.
Bruce, I think you might have been at a disadvantage about 15 episodes ago when we were doing the urban legend episode idea. I don't think one of the Universal Hogwash questions was a Loch Ness Monster one, and you got it wrong and Brian got it right. It's like, I know this one. Okay, well, yeah, so Revenge of the Zygons.
Terror of the Zygons.
Terror of the Zygons.
If you said pick a classic one,
What
a New Who one, I would.
it's one that you want, Brian.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be classic. We expect it from you at this
Yeah,
point,
it
but it
is.
doesn't have to be. What is the episode like? If you were to watch it if you want to watch that episode for the first time, you're going to experience that same joy first.
Terror of the Zygons is the first proper Doctor Who I remember watching. Really
Okay.
scared the bejesus out of me.
I don't get scared unless someone asks me if I'm a mummy.
Unless you're watching Empty Child.
Mummy.
Or Blink. Blink is pretty freaky.
Blink is a very popular one. I don't want to put Blink in there because it's too popular.
You think it'll just
walk
landslide it
I think Brian's is going to come last, but that's because there's
more? It's
it's not because there's less people that watch classic Who is more popular than Modern Who. The issue is that most of the listeners only watch Modern Who,
Yeah, fair enough.
which is why we have history lessons to get more people interested.
Yeah, I think that we would have probably had more people interested in classic through our descriptions of the episodes. I wonder if anybody is watching along with us, because we tell them the week before about the episode. So, I mean, if
they'll be really disappointed this week.
If anybody is watching along with us, leave comments on the Twitter page, and we'll.
We could do our own director's commentary one.
Yeah,
it would take a very long episode, but
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to just sit down and watch an episode you've seen before, and it's like, and now played a podcast at the same time, and now I've ruined the episode.
I'm never watching Doctor Who again.
So you want Terror of the Zygons, you want the Hellbent?
Hellbent.
I want Empty Child, and I will pick one from the listeners, and that will be Silence in the Library.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah, because that was also really popular, and it was my second choice, and it's my show.
It's my show. I do what I want.
I'll do what I want. So that concludes us for the first half of the show. I wasn't able to watch the Classic Who because of how late Brian left it to actually pass the DVD to me.
Yesterday, what's the matter with you?
And I was just
It was
lazy.
Eid.
Yes.
I was just lazy to actually watch it, though I have seen.
Even had you watched it, we still wouldn't be doing it today. So
Should we park it for next week then?
we'll watch it next week.
Yes. So we'll discuss Dalek Invasion of Earth next week.
Yeah, I have already seen it, but I haven't seen it in a while. So
Yeah, so last episode we had some confusion over Dalek Invasion of Earth. So could you just run it through? Because we thought it was the film.
Yeah, because
Yes, it was turned into a film by. It was actually Homer. No, it wasn't. We'll try again. It was actually Hammer Productions who made the Doctor Who films, famous for their 1960s, 1970s horror films.
Okay.
Starring Peter Cushing as the eponymous hero.
Yeah, was it 2066 AD or something?
Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150.
2150.
It's not that far away, really, is it?
No, not really.
But big difference is that he was actually a human in the films, and he was actually called Doctor Who.
Yeah, did you know that that film's actually canonical with the Whoniverse? It's a film that was made in the Whoniverse about the Doctor. Because obviously not much is known about him, so that's just what their idea of him was.
Stills of the film in the Black Archive. If you look closely on Day of the Doctor,
There's posters for the film in the 50th anniversary in a deleted scene. Yeah. So
back to the TV version. Yes, there was a lot of clamour to bring the Daleks back after they were so popular the first time round, and this time they try and invade the Earth.
Okay. So before we come back to History Lesson, how about the news?
Okay, I'll do the news. So a few bits of news today.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Wait, music? Anyone music? No? You've ruined it, guys. You've just ruined it. I'll do the news.
We've put people off music.
And you've been listening to Whovian Whoniverse. Have a week!
The last ever one.
I'll say what next ever. You now listen to the last ever 18th
That was a
episode.
joke, by the way, listeners.
Let's start on the down note. We'll get that out of the way, and then we can go on to the nicer news. Right, Paul Darrows. Brian has advised me today has died. I believe he was 78. Was it?
Hang on.
It's a good age.
I want to do the Hulk sad music while you talk about it.
Okay, go on. So he was best known for his role in Blake 7. He played Avon. Is that?
That's correct, yeah.
He appeared in a couple of Doctor Who episodes, The Silurians and Time Lash.
Yes.
Now, Time Lash, as I said to Ryan earlier on, sounds like the Doctor's just going out and getting absolutely hammered. Just drunk past the point. Right, okay, so...
Thoughts are with his family.
Yeah.
Rest in pieces. For those listening...
I was actually genuinely upset by this news.
Yeah.
For those listening, Lewis just went like, he just made a cross with his hands like he's some sort of priest.
It's the last rites on this podcast.
This is the final will and testament of Lewis John Paul Brooke.
John Paul Peter...
It's actually John Paul. I made it. It was a guess.
Yeah.
Ringo and George.
No, it really isn't.
I said it with such conviction. I believe myself.
Right, so it's confirmed that the Faceless Ones will be the next animated Lost story. It's a Patrick Thornton. It originally aired in...
Thornton? Patrick Thornton? Who's that?
He invented the chocolate.
Yeah, no.
So Richard Thornton.
I mean, I've heard of Patrick Troughton.
Yes.
Okay.
So is it stop motion with chocolate
have
bars?
Have you seen my writing? I'm just reading. All right, so my writing's really bad. Okay. So April. It was originally aired in April to May 1967, and it is the 8th serial of the 4th season. Now, episode 1 and 3 actually do survive on film. There's 4 episodes for this serial. But episodes 2 and 4 were actually destroyed by the BBC, as many of those earlier Who's were. Character, the challenge, the main challenge that the animators are going to face in this,
finding enough chocolate.
Well, basically, there's 26 speaking parts in this in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, and
the characters have an average of 3 dress changes per character. So there's a lot of animation, and they're saying that it's going to really test the budget, because these animations are made on a very tight budget. Given that they're, old Who,
that's the BBC. Wow.
So yeah, so the budget might be tight, given that they're not going to be able to reuse the animation as much as they would in your average animation.
It's like the BBC forgot that Doctor Who prints money.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a money printer. They just make an episode like ka-ching, ka-ching.
Well, yeah, I mean these animations will sell. Like there are a whole host of collectors out there who specifically want these 2 episodes for their collection. Two parts of this serial for their collection. So as you say, BBC forgets Doctor Who is one of their bread and butters.
Doctor Who is actually the BBC's highest selling product overseas.
Yeah.
Wow. More than Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Mrs. Brown Boys is a very close second.
Is it?
And
do you think anyone does a podcast about Mrs. Brown's Boys? I'd like to think so, somewhere.
I smell a crossover.
Wasn't it Top Gear that was the biggest selling product overseas for many years until
until Clarkson became really racist and offended every other foreign nation
and beat up his own
actually
manager.
Doctor Who has always been above Top Gear.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Except when it wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
So Top Gear's never been number 1.
So the last bit of news is Gareth Roberts. He was writing stories about Doctor Who. He's one of their contributors. He seems to have been fired, and they're not going to allow his contribution in the Whoniverse, which is the Target storybook.
Oh, the Target storybooks.
Yeah.
I'm collecting those.
It will not be featured. So he's recently been been fired. So his contribution to the Target storybooks has been pretty much shelved.
I didn't know they were still making.
Basically, he made comments about transgenders on Twitter that well, I don't know. It seemed regressive. So
Okay.
He said he's.
You're not going to read the tweets.
Yeah, pretty much I am. But it's not so bad that we can't read it on the podcast. So he said basically that he's rejected restrictive cultures, gender stereotypes for a long time, and he can. He doesn't believe. He says that he doesn't believe in gender identity. That was pretty much what his contribution's been taken out.
That's
for.
his opinion, I guess. I'm not saying I agree with it. But,
yep. It's his opinion.
If that's an opinion, I respect a person's opinion. Yeah.
And the BBC, saw it fit to,
One of those books, Bri.
Mm-hmm.
There was a collection of Target books in the 70s.
Novelisations of most of the broadcasts classic Who.
Because I've got a couple.
Yeah, a few never made it to print. Mainly particularly the Douglas Adams. I'm leaning forward here. Douglas Adams ones.
There was a fella on the I was tweeting about it on the Whoniverse Twitter page just a couple of days ago.
Put his pictures up, didn't he?
Yeah. There was a fella who bought the entire collection of the books for £5 at a car boot.
Right,
That's
cool.
awesome.
A fella was just getting rid of them. He just had a box of books, and there they were. He picked up all the Doctor Who ones and said, "How much for these?" £5. It took him.
That's amazing.
That is pretty. That's really good.
If you think about how hard some of those are to find, it is quite incredible. There's a store near where I live in Dewsbury where he has a massive pile of them, and depending on what mood he's in, I bought one for 20p.
Oh.
I've seen them for £5-6 each.
Yeah.
Well, Huddersfield Comic Con.
But now that I've seen what the collection looks like, I feel like it's not massive, but it's big enough to turn it into a bit of a hobby to collect. It's not too expensive hobby. Yeah, I think it's about 50.
I would say more than that, because I say almost every single classic Who was turned into a Target novelization.
It was the Who story though, not not each individual episode. So there's about 50 books from what I could see.
Right.
So I think it'd be a good project just to try and
Target did ask Douglas Adams to write a novelisation of City of Death, bearing in mind how huge Douglas Adams was as an author, and they had a standard contract of £1,000 to write the novelisation. Douglas Adams said, "I don't mean to be rude, but I do have a tendency to be a best-selling author." When he was getting advances of £500,000 a time for his books.
Like, you can take your £1,000 and shove it. But that's you don't get if you don't ask, do you?
Exactly.
So
they didn't get.
Moving on very smoothly onto History Lesson.
Yeah. So, it's sort of part for this week, isn't it? Because we've not had a chance to watch it.
But you've got something for us, surely. This is what you're in charge of.
Well, I was going to ask you what you thought about Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Okay, yeah. Because you gave me so much notice. You actually gave me the DVD on Eid.
There's very little of Dalek Invasion of Earth that I actually remember. I have seen it.
Don't ruin it for me. I thought you had a quiz.
Yeah.
I've got a quiz, but it's not about Dalek Invasion of Earth.
All right.
Is it about
Fair
classic?
enough.
It's about Classic Who.
Oh, let's do the quiz, and
Right.
we're going to pick up the story next
So
week.
I'm going to give you 4 stories, all of which we've spoken about on History Lesson.
Is there a prize for the winner?
The prize is just general smugness.
Okay. I'll go with that. Me and Jamie are.
I've never taken part in a quiz on the show before, so
here we go. City of Death, Warriors of the Deep, Caves of Androzani, and Pyramids of Mars.
Do we have to buzz in? Sorry. Let's set the rules of the quiz, because
they're the 4 stories.
Okay.
I want you to put them in order of viewing figures.
Oh, viewing figures. Wait,
right.
You can work together or you can work individually.
Let's work together.
Okay. All right. So, the ones that we've watched, Pyramids of Mars.
You watched them all?
Yeah. No, the ones that we've
I think I know which one came last.
Right.
I know for a fact, an educated guess, okay, fine, is the Caves of... No, not the Caves of Andrews. The one in the submarine, which one was that?
It was the Sea Devils one, wasn't it? What's that?
Warriors on the Cheap.
Well, Warriors on the Cheap. I know for a fact that one came last because I'm pretty certain everyone was very focused on the political happenings of the time with Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah. So you're putting Warriors on the Cheap last?
Do you agree?
The lowest viewing figures?
Warriors on the Cheap. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
Now,
I think
I'd also put the...
And I know that some of the earlier days stuff would have gotten insane.
Could you give me the options again?
Right, so we've got
insane
City of Death.
Yeah.
Warriors on the... I'll give you its proper title. Warriors of the Deep. City of Death.
Yeah.
Warriors of the Deep. Caves of Androzani. And Pyramids of Mars.
Right, so City of Death was written by Douglas Adams, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty certain, because his name's attached to it, more people would have gone to watch it.
Yeah.
So I'd put that number 1.
So you're saying so far, City of Death at number 1, and Warriors on the Cheap at number 4.
And then I think because Caves of Androzani, that's when Peter Davison regenerated. That would have been a high figure one, but not as high profile as Douglas Adams writing an episode. So I put that at number 2.
I don't know. I think I put Pyramids there, but I'm going on I suppose the quality.
We don't know the quality before I watch it. That's what I'm thinking of. You see. I'm thinking of what they're expecting.
Right. So yeah, fair enough.
Right. So you're saying City of Death,
Yeah.
then
City of Death, then the caves.
Caves.
The caves of
so
Andromeda.
City, Caves,
Pyramids
Warriors.
and Warriors.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got one right.
Are you...
Which one was it?
So you're
Bleep
right.
you! Bleep you! I quit the show.
City of Death was the most popular,
Mhm.
with 14.5 million viewers on average.
And was I right as to the reason why?
It would have been a big factor.
Okay.
Also, remember back then, just your 3 channels to choose from.
Was it Pyramids, Warriors, and then?
I thought you were going to say what the channels were then. Yeah, but-
Pyramid Channel.
Was it Pyramids, Pyramids, Warriors, then Andromeda?
So
It
what was
was
number 2?
City of Death, followed by Pyramids of Mars,
Mhm.
with 10.72 million viewers.
Who wrote that one, do you know? So if that's Douglas
That
Adams
wasn't
as
Douglas
well.
Adams again, no.
Okay, good, because I voted the cause we changed my answer. I still stand by my answers and I stood my reasoning.
Then it was Warriors on the Cheap at 7.72 million.
Okay.
And then last was Caves of Andromeda with 7.27 million. So very close between the two.
Can I just say my reasoning for my answers was pretty top
I
notch.
like your reasoning.
I really put a lot of thought into it. They were very educated guesses. I guess I just don't understand the culture of TV back then.
I
And-
think, and if I remember rightly, Caves of Andromeda was actually during the time when they switched Doctor Who to a Monday and a Wednesday.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So it was up against, I think, Behemoth back then. It was Coronation Street.
Still is a behemoth.
It's still rubbish though.
Yeah.
Well, I know I had to record Doctor Who when I was at my mum's.
Oh,
While
really?
she watched Coronation Street.
We've got iPlayer now, Grandad, so...
We didn't when I was young. We only had 3
Back in
channels.
my day,
We only had 3
we
channels.
had to watch it on the televox.
Channel 4 haven't come out yet. I'm surprised you have video recorders and not Betamax.
No, we had VHS. We were ahead of the curve. And not a V2000, which was the other format.
We did have Betamax before the
Brian
VCR came
still remembers when the TV stopped broadcasting in the evening.
I do.
Actually, to be
Brian.
fair, so do I.
So do I.
in a
as well,
sense,
yeah.
where
Channel 4 would stop.
in the 90s, it was Channel 4
Yeah.
would stop broadcasting. It would
Yeah.
do the 10 o'clock news and it'd stop.
Yeah.
All the programmes would stop about 10:30.
Yeah, the thing is, why don't we take a cue from Americans to reruns?
BBC One is closing down for the evening now. Here is the national anthem.
No, wrong
No.
one.
Well, give it a couple of years.
Here God save my gracious queen. God save my noble queen.
So,
Long live the queen.
so,
Metallica
one of the
performed.
worst national anthems ever.
Yeah.
It sounds.
It's actually very racist as well. Like,
Oh, yeah,
save us
the
from the
Scots.
Scottish and their
Yeah,
neighbours'
yeah.
tricks,
Crushing
confound their
rebellious
politics.
Yeah, I think the nicest sounding national anthem I've heard is the Italian one. It's very musical and classical sort of sounding.
I know the Welsh anthem. If you want to hear that one.
Go on.
Oh
I
God.
knew.
We're hemorrhaging viewers, listeners,
Yeah.
readers.
I knew he was going to do that as soon as he said.
And see.
Speaking of someone who's a quarter Welsh, I'm offended.
Couldn't hear you. You sound too sheepish. So is that it for History
That was it
Lesson?
for History Lesson. Let's aim to watch Dalek Invasion of Earth by next week.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. I need to mention I saw a real life listener out in the wild.
Oh yeah,
Couple
you
of
did,
weeks ago.
didn't you?
Yeah.
It was at Huddersfield.
What did
Comic.
it look like?
He was dressed as
Just so we
number
can look
11.
out for him.
Oh,
He was
no.
11.
He was dressed as
You should be
number
talking to 11-year-olds.
He was
Hello, little
dressed-
boy. Do you listen to our podcast?
He was dressed as number 11.
Number 11.
He was at least 13.
Okay. And that makes it any better?
So yeah, I congratulated him on his outfit and said, "Oh, I do a podcast called Whovian Whoniverse." He went, "Oh, listen to that."
in that exact voice.
Wow.
So I said I'd give him a shout out. I also promised to give Dee a shout out as well. I don't know why, but
Why would you give Dee a shout out?
he asked nicely.
Yeah,
No, he asked sarcastically. You just
Yeah.
don't understand.
he is
Dee.
like really sarcastic about it. And
I know he
everything,
was
so-
my team leader for the first 6
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, and look how you turned out. You just bounced on teams. You've been on like 3 teams since you joined
I
us.
know, I'm a right team tart, aren't
A little bit, yeah. Everyone has a ride.
I? Anyway,
Yeah, one day we'll get Sashell in here to do the podcast. She does a really killer Scottish accent.
She really does. Yeah,
Yeah, she's
It's
probably...
like Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter. That's how I see that Scottish accent.
So, and that concludes Whovian Universe this week.
yeah, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Just type Whovian Whoniverse in the search bar.
Yeah, be sure to check out our second show, Product Rehu, which is now monthly instead of weekly, because doing a weekly Product Rehu is
Costing you too much.
it's suddenly got expensive. So, and I was going through my stuff too quickly. So,
Do you want to do the Dalek special product Rehu if I bring it in?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't you do it?
Yeah,
And I'll record it, and
Right.
then we'll put it online. Because Lewis did one. He did one for the Funko Pop.
I'll do one.
Yeah.
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 It's about time I stepped up.
Yeah. Don't forget you can follow our Twitter account at Whoniverse on Twitter. You can follow Brian on Twitter.
Yeah, Beach007.
Yeah, you can follow Lewis on Twitter in real life. Or I think it's, what is it?
Yeah, L Brook 14.
The fact that you don't know your own username
Yeah,
on Twitter
no.
just means you need a new one. For those listening, Lewis needs another haircut. It's gone full skinhead. And I think you should keep it, man. I think if you maintained it, it's actually a good look
Very,
for
very
you.
much Ninth Doctor.
Very Ninth Doctor.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Eccleston.
Yeah, a very homeless person. It depends how you want to take it. I always found that Eccleston had a bit of a homeless vibe to him. So.
He certainly did, yeah.
Yeah. But he was very intense. I can feel the earth rotating beneath me. And I was like, WTF, get away from me, you weirdo.
He sort of flipped though, did Eccleston's Doctor. He was all calm and nice at some point.
Tell you what, he flipped with the BBC as well. He refuses to work with them.
Really?
Yeah, he refuses to work on anything to do with Doctor. He had such a bad experience, and no one knows the full story.
He does.
He does, allegedly. I think he's got Alzheimer's.
He was good in Heroes.
I think he's got Alzheimer's. You know, did I ever tell you what the funny thing about being told he got Alzheimer's is? You never get told just at once. And on that note, you've been listening to Whovian Whoniverse. Have a week!